there, because there was this thought, this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168 pounder fighting a 147 pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023. Came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face to face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people will be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's
lightweight.
For that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best.
And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this?
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left.
The boxing world is currently in the grip of a fevered debate, one that transcends weight classes and eras, sparked by Terence Bud Crawford's monumental achievement. The conversation isn't just about his recent dominance. It's an inevitable, high-stakes comparison to the specter that hangs over all modern boxing greatness. Floyd Money Mayweather Jr., we are witnessing a clash of philosophies, legacies, and fan bases that is as intense as any prize fight. The catalyst, of course, is Crawford's stunning ascension. Critics and fans alike have long questioned his path. You hear the whispers. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this? There's a persistent school of thought that believes if you scrutinize Mayweather's resume, it runs significantly deeper than Crawford's. They argue Floyd was faster, possessed a more impenetrable defense, and operated on a different level entirely. The critique often centers on Mayweather's later career choices. Once he left the lightweight division, critics claim he became a calculated businessman in the ring, carefully selecting opponents at the precise moment they were ripe for the picking. Yet, Floyd undoubtedly stands as the premier fighter of his era. But Crawford? He operates with the supreme confidence that he is unequaled in his own time. Stephen A. Smith recently jumped into the simmering pot, responding to the noise surrounding Mayweather calling out Crawford.
Had to say about you when he said you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather. I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford.
Smith's take is that modern boxing has a bad habit of overlooking current greatness while overhyping others. He believes Crawford is due significantly more respect for his skills and accomplishments. He pointedly noted that Mayweather is older now, removed from the peak level he once occupied, and emphasized that the narrative should remain squarely on Crawford's current dominance rather than getting lost in comparisons that only serve to downplay just how historically great Terence Crawford truly is. The conversation gets even more interesting when you bring in perspective of the man who has stood across the ring from both legends, Canelo Alvarez. When Canelo recently suggested Crawford might be better than Floyd, it sent shockwaves through the sport. Crawford himself took it as the highest form of compliment. After all, pundits and fans can speculate endlessly, but there's a very short list of human beings who know what it feels like to trade leather with both Crawford and Mayweather. Canelo's perspective is unique, born from direct, painful experience. Legendary fighter Shane Mosley weighed in, offering a nuanced view on the comparison. While acknowledging both as outstanding boxers, Mosley sees a natural size advantage for Crawford that changes the dynamic. Crawford's inherent strength and frame give him an edge at higher weight classes that Mayweather simply never possessed when he moved up to middleweight. Mosley still champions Mayweather's technical wizardry and precision.
Those two, Crawford or Mayweather.
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is.
Noting how Floyd defeated bigger opponents through sheer ring IQ and defensive mastery, a specific challenge Crawford doesn't face in the same way because he is the bigger man often. For Mosley, Mayweather's legacy is built on pure adaptability, whereas Crawford's is a blend of high skill and imposing physical reality. The debate often circles back to the eye test versus the resume. Some analysts feel Crawford is the better all-around fighter right now, someone who is actually striving to conquer weight classes in a way Floyd became hesitant to do later in his career. They see Crawford's long arms, switch-hitting ability, and size as factors that would pose an insurmountable problem even for a prime Mayweather. The argument goes that it would be incredibly difficult for Mayweather to counter someone with Crawford's dimensions and skill set. Yet, you cannot dismiss Mayweather's supernatural talent. His supporters argue his zero losses speak for themselves, while Crawford, despite his brilliance, is still writing his final chapter. Crawford himself, speaking with Ariel Helwani, reminded everyone why Canelo's opinion carries so much weight. He pointed out crucial context. Their respective fights against the Mexican superstar happened under wildly different circumstances. Mayweather faced a very young, green, inexperienced Canelo. Crawford, in this recent seismic shift, fought a seasoned, undisputed 168 pounds champion Canelo. Despite giving up natural size, Crawford demonstrated superior skill and power. He argued that Canelo's remark about feeling stronger against him only proves that greatness is often about timing and context. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the sweet science and want to stay locked in on the biggest debates defining boxing history, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat when we break down these legendary matchups. The narrative going into Crawford's showdown with Canelo was dominated by the age-old boxing trope that a good big man always beats a good little man. It was repeated ad nauseum throughout fight week. Crawford's performance was a violent refutation of that idea. It is essential to remember he was a 147-pounder moving up to challenge a 168-pound king. He had only one brief stop at 154 pounds before taking the monumental leap to face Canelo Alvarez in Los Angeles. He played his hand perfectly, securing a fight that Canelo seemed reluctant to take for a long time due to the immense risk involved. Canelo knew that despite the size difference, Crawford was that damn good. However, those in Mayweather's corner, like trainer Greg Hackett, offer a different perspective on Floyd's bout with Canelo versus Crawford's. Hackett highlights Floyd as a complete package at that time, refined, disciplined, and incredibly consistent. He argues Crawford's style is more aggressive and unpredictable, relying on explosive defensive reactions and in-fight adjustments, whereas Floyd stood apart by executing a near-perfect game plan from the opening bell. While respecting Crawford's achievement, Hackett maintains that Mayweather's dismantling of Canelo remains one of the greatest performances ever delivered in a ring. The consensus among Mayweather loyalists was that the Floyd who fought Canelo was operating in total confidence, a complete fighter whose IQ was unmatched that night. They argue Crawford, despite winning, didn't look as pristine because he was figuring out his opponent on the fly, whereas Floyd already knew exactly what to do. Max Kellerman provided an analytical look at their diverging career paths. After leaving lightweight, Floyd became notoriously selective, treating his career like a high-stakes chess match. Crawford, by stark contrast, has adopted a whoever whenever mentality, appearing far more daring and willing to embrace risk. Kellerman emphasized that this calculated approach doesn't diminish Floyd's greatness, but it certainly highlights Crawford's relentless determination to challenge himself against the hardest possible opposition across multiple divisions. The critique of Floyd is that while his resume is deep with names, he sometimes avoided certain guys at their absolute peak. Crawford, conversely, wanted to smoke with everyone the whole time, a trait that endears him deeply to purists. Crawford has gone on record stating he believes he would beat a prime Floyd Mayweather. It wasn't said with disrespect, but with the supreme self-belief necessary to be a champion.